So, I'm here with Toby O'Brien, the wonderful Toby O'Brien, the country of the winds. Pauca milia passum ab eo loco progressus ulixes ad insulam Aeoliam navem appulit. So here, Ulysses, progressus, having set out. What kind of word is progressus, having set out?
It's a PPP.
Is it?
I believe
having set out?
Yes.
Not having been set out.
PAP.
PAP, perfect active participle.
It's a deponent.
Because it's a deponent verb, absolutely right. Ulysses, having set out a few thousand paces, a few miles from that place, Appulit steered the ship to the island of Aeolia. This was the country of the winds. Hic vasto, this is actually, I think, a direct quote from the Aeneid. Possibly that's why it's here in quote marks, although I'm not sure about that. Hic vasto rex Aeolus. So you've got to find your subject. The king Aeolus here, and now find your verb, which doesn't come, I suppose, really until you get to the premet. Yeah. So the king Aeolus here pressed in, kept in the vasto, in a vast cave, the luctantes ventos, the blowing winds, and the tempestates sonoras, and the loud storms. So the blowing winds and the loud storms, he kept them in this vast cave with his by his power, imperio, ablative of instrument, and he and in chains, and he frenet, and he kept them in prison, something like that. He restrained them in the prison, in carcere. Ibi, there, the king, excepit, the king himself received the Graikos, the Greeks, with kindness, with hospitality, and he persuaded them, to, and now if he's persuading them, then look for a subjunctive to find out what he's persuading them to do. So he persuaded them, look for the end of the sentence, comorarentur. Yep, which is going to mean I linger, something like that, I delay. So he persuaded them to delay. Why do you think that is in the subjunctive?
Purpose clause.
He persuaded them to delay. If it was in order that they may do something, in order to do something, so they lingered there in order to do something, that would be a purpose clause. He persuaded them to delay.
Indirect command.
It's an indirect command. Well done. It's this persuasit. It's the persuasion bit here. Turn it into an indirect command. So he persuaded them to comorarentur, to linger in that region for a few days, paukos, time how long accusative. Here, add for their vires. Do you remember what we've said that word means?
Not men.
Not
strength.
men, strength. Good. So literally, he persuaded them to remain there for their strength to be recovered, to recover their strength. You asked me actually last lesson, Toby, about changing, if you remember an unseen that we did, a Seneca unseen.
Changing passive and active.
Changing passive and active, and you can do it. So you don't need to say necessarily he persuaded them to stay there for the sake of their strength being recovered. You could just say to recover their strength. What kind of word is recuperandas, that one that we had there?
Gerundive of obligation.
It is a gerundive, absolutely right. Well done, good. So, to recover their strength, he persuaded them to stay in that region. Septimo die, on the seventh day, time when ablative, cum, when his allies, recepissent, had recovered themselves from their efforts. Recepissent, pluperfect subjunctive, why?
Temporal clause.
Temporal clause, absolutely right. Ulysses, ne, in order that he not be excluded from sailing, lose the opportunity, let's say, in order that he not not lose the opportunity, I'm trying to think. Not be disallowed from saying, not be, what could you say for excluder? I mean, obviously you get the English word exclude, that he not be forced out from his sailing.
Yeah. Lose the opportunity.
Lose the opportunity of sailing. Okay, Ulysses, lest he lose the opportunity. Why is excluderetur in the subjunctive?
Because you've got ne,
and therefore,
which is the negative of ut.
So
that's a purpose clause.
That's a negative purpose clause. Good. Yeah. In order to not to lose the opportunity of sailing of that time of year, from the time of the year, he decided sibi proficiscendum. He decided to set out. He decided for himself to set out. So what kind of word is that? Proficiscendum sibi.
Well, it is. I believe it's a gerundive.
If it's a gerundive, it would be passive and it would be agreeing with something.
Yeah, but that's a deponent verb, so maybe it's a gerund.
Yeah, it's a gerund. It's a deponent verb. Gerund. It's a gerund. Absolutely right. Good. It's a gerund. That's gerund of obligation here because you've got this. You've got an intransitive word here actually, so there's not going to be a passive because proficiscor is a deponent verb. So he decided that he should set out without delay. Tum Aeolus. Then Aeolus, who knew that Ulysses was very desirous, was very eager of seeing his country. Good, there's a couple of things here. First of all, notice that word skio, I know. So he knew. Ulixem, accusative, cupidissimum, superlative, esse. What's all that an example of?
Indirect statement.
Indirect
so you got
statement.
cupidissimum in the accusative because
Yep.
it agrees with Ulysses.
Absolutely right. Good. So he knew that Ulysses was very desirous of seeing his country. Now, for this videndai, what kind of word is videndai?
It agrees, so it's a gerundive.
So it's a gerundive. Absolutely right. So here he was very desirous of seeing. He was very eager to see his country. Et, and he dedit, gave to him now, profecturo, about to set out. What kind of participle is profecturo?
Future. Sorry, that what's it called? Future.
You've got it.
Just future.
Just future. Yeah.
Future.
So, and he gave to him now, about to set out, a big bag, confectum, bound, made out of leather. Confectum. What kind of word is confectum actually? Having been made out of leather.
That's a PPP.
That's a PPP. Good, perfect passive participle. Well done. In which he incluserat, he had shut all of the winds except for one. Tantum, he had only released the zephyr because that was a wind, quod ille ventus, because that wind was secundus, was favourable to a naviganti, was favourable to a man sailing. What kind of word do you think naviganti might be? To a man sailing.
It's a gerund.
Is it? It's a T, not a D.
Oh,
To a sailing
definitely
man.
not that.
It's not that, no.
Oh, that's a present participle.
Absolutely right, excuse me. Sorry, it's a present participle. Good, because that wind was favourable to a man sailing from the island of Aeolia to Ithaca. Ulysses gladly received this gift and, and with gratitude, on account of such kindness, he, gratias ago is I give thanks, and so it's with thanks having been given. What kind of word is that? Gratias, gratis rather, actis. With thanks having been given.
It's an ablative absolute.
That's an ablative absolute.
Not an absolute ablative.
Not an absolute ablative. Never an absolute ablative. So he bound, having given his thanks on behalf of such an act of kindness, he bound the bag to a malum, to a mast. Tum, then, with everything ready, with omnibus rebus ready. What is rebus paratis, with everything prepared?
Ablative absolute.
Ablative absolute again. Good. Then, with everything ready, ad profectionem for the journey. At about fere meridiano, at about midday, he solvit, he left from the harbour. And that's the end. Very